sure everyone's curious about how Eddie Jordan self-isolates. Can you give us a little... I want to see the beach, obviously.
Oh, well, you couldn't have Eddie Jordan without living beside the sea, because I feel that I'm handcuffed to the sea. I feel naked when I'm not around. I was brought up by the sea in Dublin, and people offered us different opportunities to go and stay with them up the coast or in country houses or whatever it was, and that was all very nice. But Marie and I, we decided we stay on our own. It was like what we did. To me, it's quite reminiscent to going around the world, except that was 13, 14 months, hardly getting off the boat at all, certainly over periods, whereas this is 3 weeks. And if the 3 weeks, at the end of that 3 weeks, we were all able to escape in a much better and healthier environment, then it's a very small price to pay. So, yeah, I am by the sea, and if did I hear you saying you wanted to see the beach? Yeah? Okay, well, let's have a little quiet walk on the beach. We live in a place called Clifton, which is Victoria Road, just on the outskirts of between Camps Bay and Cape Town. It is magnificent, and 2012 I actually sailed around here, and it's as a result of coming here then that I realised how much I love the place. I'm sorry if the sun is too strong on your eyes, but anyway, that's a little private beach. That's at the end of just outside the balcony. Glorious sand, although it's been a wild day. You can see the sea and the waves. And as we go across there, that's the famous Clifton 4 beach, Clifton 3, 2 and 1 further on there. And there's the start of the great mountain range, the 12 Apostles, and Table Mountain, Lion's Head just behind us. It is quite a spectacular place to live, and the noise. The sea is very noisy, I must say. It's as you probably can understand, but it is something that is magical, and to wake up with that every morning. I'm sure some people will be a bit envious, but that's the way life, the cards were dealt for me. I'm a retired guy, so I got lucky in a lot of different ways, and when I came across Cape Town, I felt some form of a bond. It was a bit of Ireland for me, except with the temperature about 15 degrees higher on each and every occasion. So I accepted that without any qualms. And so I'm here for about 3 or 4 months normally every year. And particularly this year because the boat Blush was in Palma having the finishing of its final makeover, and so we didn't go to the Caribbean, and as a result we didn't enter St. Bart's, and the bucket of course is cancelled, which I'm really sorry for the people who had intended to be there, but it will make it better next year, and for sure I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I am thinking about the boat a little bit because I've got plenty of time to do things, but it's amazing. This period is going to fly by, and I always thought when I was getting on the boat in Southampton in 2012, like, my God, I'm going to be bored to death. What on earth am I going to do? I'm going to drive Marie mad. I'm going to drive the crew mad, and I probably did do that. But I have an aggravating methodology in my mind, and I just like annoying people. I don't know what that is in me. I just can't help it. But or I like teasing them is probably a better word. Anyway, the fact is that thinking that I would be bored to death was the furthest thing now from my mind, because the time just flew by. You put plans in place to do this, that, and the other, and no sooner have you put the plan in place that the 3 weeks are over, and the next thing is you've landed in a port, or in this case, the lockdown is complete. But it also gives us a good time to reflect and to think about things. I'll do a bit of writing, maybe. Might even write another column for you if you're nice to me. And there'll hopefully be a magazine out due soon, and I'll have a good read of that and see what's happening. but it's very difficult to read magazines and get engrossed in the magazine and think about all the things that's happening when there are other issues that need to be tackled. But nevertheless, for that little moment of fantasy and getting away from it all, it is important to delve into Boat International. It's like a Bible. I think it's been a Bible a lot longer than any other magazine. It used to be Autosport for me for a while, and then Motorsport or whatever it is, and haven't bought those for ages and ages. So Boat International is my main magazine, and I enjoy it so much. So make sure you keep doing it.
We will. In fact, talking about annoying people, when you it was when you were teasing Bernie Eccleston, he gave you the name for your band, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I could tease him all day long, but he could tease me. I mean, he is the artful dodger. I mean, we talk about him in many different respects. Of course, he comes from the sea too. He was brought up as the son of a trawlerman, so he's always had boats, big boats under different names. Obviously, mainly Croatian boats and Croatian crude. His wife, being Slavica, was very keen on having Croatian staff. And it was them, in fact, who made sure and brought us for the first time to Split and to Var, to Dubrovnik. And I'd not really understood all that part of the Adriatic. I'd obviously seen from a driver that I'd had, Jarno Trulli, who lived in that part of Italy. So in other words, the southeast of Italy. And but to go across and then to find Montenegro, to find Slovenia, and it's just a wonderful place to go sailing, and I'm glad I did it, and I owe that to Bernie. And yeah.
If you were not obviously self-isolating in Cape Town, you'd be in Courchevel right about now, right, with the rest of the Jordan clan.
Well, that was the big plan, and I feel sorry for so many different people, but I feel sorry for the people who are, of course, affected, and I feel sorry for the good Lord, the NHS and all the people who are the really unsung heroes. I mean, we can talk about feeling sorry for people on the mountain. Forget those for the moment because they're just having fun. But it's the people. I've seen some shockers of photographs of girls, nurses who've been on duty for the last 48 hours, determined to make sure that they alleviate whatever pain and the suffering that a lot of these people are having. Some of them in the last throw of the dice in terms of their age or their health or their life expectancy. They're the people who need to be attended to. And talking and thinking about Courchevel and what it could be like and what it should be like, with a bit of luck, if we look after ourselves, there's plenty more years left in us to be able to do things like that. So to miss it for 1 year, the younger ones and the grandkids, it's already passed them by. They obviously haven't even forgotten about it. I could probably think about the savings I've made, but I'm not allowed to say things like that because they all say, "Oh, Dad, don't be so miserable." But anyway, that's another way of looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just talk about the boat quickly. So the refit's done. The boat's sparkling, looking like new, but she's not in Parma anymore. You've moved her to the south of France.
Yeah, well, it's natural home, and the natural home for all the Jordan family boats has always been in Gulf Juan. For me, it's a wonderful port. We're just down from the Capitanery, so it's as safe as could be, within reason, whatever port there is. And we feel at home there, and everybody knows the boat, everyone knows the family at this stage. So I think the boat is firm. Of course, everybody is talking about how many staff and how many crew, what is the situation about this, that and the other, because it's difficult times, because at the end of the day, most people are responsible to bean counters, and we have to be pragmatic as to how the boat operates, and how best to get the best value out of it without being ridiculous. So a number of serious questions are being asked at the moment. When is the likelihood of the boat being able to be used again? Is it likely to see any charters this year? It's going to be a difficult charter season, that's for sure. And you know that goes for all sorts of people. In my own case, it's campers, but I can't imagine campers have too many bookings on their books at the moment. And so how do they make some money? And how do the girls? And Gail, for example, who looks after us. So everybody has been hit by this, and it's not going to get any easier. I dare say your people, it's difficult for them to. Okay, they can write stuff at home and send it by email. So in a way, you're quite fortunate. But nevertheless, there are so many people out there who have been touched, have been hit, and are suffering and will suffer even more.
Yeah, no one's untouched by this. It's registered in every part of the economy, not least publishing. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting and challenging time.
But again, the publishers are too rich anyway. So forget about that.
No publisher is rich. Maybe 2 or 3. There's not many others.
I know a few, but anyway, go ahead.
So hopefully there'll be a chance to do some. You'll have some kind of season this year on board Blush. So if you get, say, July and August or a bit of August on board, what do you intend to do?
Well, of course, historically, I enjoyed Greece so much last year, but in particular Turkey, and Turkey has been a favourite of mine for maybe 20 years, and because it's too far away in terms of 7 or 8 days, 6 days to get there, and the time and the cost in getting it there, you're inclined to pass and maybe see the next year. But then, having gone last year and realised what a great month of September we had, it was quite simply staggering. You know, my intention was to head back that way. So the boat, for example, would be by the end of June. This is in a perfect scenario. By the end of June, maybe Naples or Ponza or Sorrento, and gradually make its way down to Golchek, Fethiye, Marmaris, Bodrum, and places like that. And then just turn around, enjoy Turkey, because it is a spectacular. It's hard to describe. It's the food, it's the water, and the ability. The water is just so clean, but it's also so warm. And then back to Greece can be overcrowded. You know, everybody wants to go to Santorini. Everybody wants to go to Mykonos.
Yeah.
Yes, 20 years ago I'd be first ashore there. I'd be going mad. But you know, age has caught up with me, and I'm sort of saying, well, I might be able to do that every second night, but not every night. So you know, the reality is once a week would be more than sufficient for me. And my wife would clearly tell you that once too many. So anyway, I think that the wildness, it's a bit like Ibiza, isn't it? There's the wildness of Mykonos and Santorini and the wildness of Ibiza. It's probably something that I let pass because I've grown accustomed to being in bed by 10 most nights, and that sounds sort of ridiculous to most people's view, but I enjoy being in bed early and I enjoy being up early. I do like being up at sunrise, and particularly on a sailing boat, because it's nothing quite like it.
Yeah. And then a bookmark to the season, the Perini Cup, which I know you love, and you got some revenge to take this year.
Well, you know, I mean, the Perini Cup was a big spectacular 2 years ago. I just bought the boat. I was trying to turn it around, and we went there in a condition that I normally wouldn't have brought the boat, but Perini said, why don't you come? And then they offered us for the band to play at one of the big functions that they did on the Saturday night. And so we went, and to my surprise, we were certainly on the final day, we were particularly competitive, and we fought tooth and nail with Maltese Falcon, which is the most magnificent boat I think that certainly Perini have ever made. There are other ones now, but it was the first one, and you know how it was conceived and how it was put together. It is spectacular engineering feat, and the fact that we came second to it, and that every mark we passed it, and then when it got it up at speed, it would pass us again. Anyway, we broke all sorts of things on the boat to try and keep up with it. It didn't happen. We finished second. If we could do, now that we've done everything with the rigging and the paint and the engines and the floors and everything else, not necessarily stuff that makes the boat quicker, but at the same time, we know the boat a lot better. We know it sails better now. We know we've got new sails. We know we've got this, that, and the other. You know, maybe we might be able to have a better shot at it. But that's not, usually when you build yourself up for something like that, it usually comes crashing down. It's not the theory behind this. Let's see what happens. It's a great event, some spectacular boats, and you know, the boat hopping makes it all the while, the music, and I think the Italian way of life is very similar to that of the Irish way of life. And you know, tomorrow is another day, let's go for this, and that's what happened. I did notice that the Perini people haven't invited my band to play yet, but I'll have to be jogging their memory, so or maybe you could do that for me. No, I don't do that. But you know, let's see if they want the band to play this year, because I thought with the crowd participation and all the staff and the crew, everybody up on the deck, it was a fun evening, and hopefully we can do that again.
Beautiful. EJ, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you very much. You look after yourself, your family and kids. Mind yourself.
Will do. Cheers, buddy.